Hi everybody, welcome back. Yesterday I was so involved with following the situation in Lewiston, Maine, that I spent every free moment checking to see whether they found the perpetrator yet. These mass shootings are just one of the most vile and cruel actions a human being can perpetrate against another. Who in their right mind thinks that it is a dangerous thing to do to take your son bowling on a Wednesday night? Absolutely no one. That is what good parents are supposed to do. Anyway, I've been both appalled, sickened, and intrigued by these events, and have done quite a bit of research and reading about it in a bid to try and understand what drives a person to do such a thing. So in a while, you can pop on over to my other channel to hear a bit more about people like Dr. Gillian Peterson and the studies she and her colleagues had done. I'll post a link in my community tab once the video is up and running. For now, we are back to the royals, because that is what we are talking about on this channel. You know, I read my daily news. I scan through the front pages of some magazines, Twitter, Instagram, and I read my DMs every morning. And something which amazes me is how often I see the King of Spain, King Philippe, and all his family in publications, and how I never really see a scandal or a lot of negativity towards him, his wife, or his daughters. Yes, I know his father, Juan Carlos, was a different kettle of fish, with loads of controversy, innuendo, and accusations lodged against him, and which ultimately led to his abdication in 2014. Because King Philippe's success tickled me all of a sudden, I went and read up about him in order to try and find reasons for that success and his increased popularity. And I think it lies not only in his personality, but in the changes he made. One of the things he did was to establish a definite difference between the royal family and his own family, the king's family, leaving his sisters and their descendants outside the royal family, and therefore not carrying out institutional representation of the crown, although they do occasionally. In July 2014, the king banned the royal family working outside the royal household, and he established an external audit made by the Office of the Controller General of the state. Okay, so let's stop right here for a brief moment. Spain does not have 15 Commonwealth realm countries, or 15 countries of which King Philippe is head of state. So King Philippe does not have the scope of work and land area to cover which King Charles has, and therefore King Charles III actually do need his brother and sister, and not just his son and his wife. Remember, the king's second son also went AWOL all the way to the United States. Yes, the British working royals also do not work outside of the royal household, and I'm saying that in inverted commas, although in my opinion the king's private endeavours on his private properties are becoming plentiful, are they not? And I would actually like to know how much of his time are being taken up by the changes he is making at Balmoral and Sandringham. But we'll talk about that later. It is not for this video. However, the matter of external audits may be another interesting topic. but we are going to skip that for now as well. Following orders from King Philippe, since the 1st of January 2015, the Spanish royal family cannot accept expensive gifts when they exceed social or courtesy uses. Now, how do we explain this? King Philippe, nor his wife, Queen Letizia, nor his daughters can or may accept a shopping bag full of cash as a gift, for instance, or a designer outfit worth 10,000 euro. But they may accept a bouquet of flowers when attending an event, or a framed photograph to commemorate an event, even if the frame is worth thousands, or a silver or bronze plaque, etc., etc. Okay, now this is just an example, but you understand what I mean. The gift should be in line with the circumstances. Now, strictly speaking, the same applies to the British royal family, and I've gone through the 7-page document of what they may or may not accept and under what circumstances, and you will find all of that in an old video. However, I'm very sad to say that the rules set for the British royal family and by the family are often ignored or disguised in some way. Now, Queen Elizabeth III was actually very strict as far as that was concerned, and also very frugal when it came to giving and receiving gifts, and particularly since 2015. But her son, the then Prince Charles and now King Charles, well, not so much. In a later video, I shall talk a little about Charles's relationship with Anthony Pratt, and unlike the supposed relationship between Pratt and Trump, King Charles III can unfortunately not deny the relationship or multitude of personal gifts and donations to his foundation as imaginary or fanciful. Because not only is there a recording of Pratt talking about his relationship with King Charles, but his home's walls are also adorned with letters from Charles, even one thanking Anthony Pratt for his Christmas gift. Of course, King Philippe's family are not 100% devoid of controversy. In 2015, King Philippe stripped his sister, Infanta Cristina, of her title of Duchess of Palma de Mallorca after tax fraud allegations were launched against her husband and herself. Her husband was sentenced to 6 years in prison and she was acquitted of all charges. However, titles were not restored. Now, shall I sarcastically clear my throat, or shall I just ask? I wonder what exactly it will take for Harry to be stripped of his title. He has already said that he does not want to be a prince. He said so a couple of times in media interviews. He has lied in public about the monarchy and his family. He slandered his country and his family numerous times in interviews and in his book and the documentary. Now, I may be 100% wrong, but I would not be surprised if the Duke and his wifey made use of every tax loophole over the past few years. But the shorter king, yes, King Philippe is the tallest European king, yes, but anyway, the shorter king still has not made any move whatsoever to strip his son, who's done all these other things worse than Infanta Cristina, and I have not seen people of Sussex, Dumbarton or Kilkeel protesting about it either. So I guess it's all okay. Although personally, I prefer King Philippe's method of discipline. In March 2020, King Philippe himself had a spot of bother when the Telegraph found that he was the second beneficiary after his father of the Lucum Foundation, an entity on the receiving end of a 65 million euro donation by the King of Saudi Arabia. Almost immediately, the royal household issued a statement declaring that King Philippe renounces any inheritance from his father to which he may be entitled, and that his father, Juan Carlos, will lose his public stipend from the state. In April 2022, the king went even further, and the royal decree that puts the king's household completely under the 2013 Transparency Act, which necessitates full disclosure of the king and senior officials of the household's wealth, was approved. King Philippe also made public his personal assets. It was revealed that his personal assets totaled 2.6 million euro, or then 2.8 million United States dollars. They also revealed that his assets were in savings, current accounts, as well as art, jewelry, and that he had no real estate or financial dealings abroad. Also note that King Philippe pays tax on all his earnings. This makes King Philippe one of the least wealthy monarchs in the world. Not that it had ever seemed to bother the king much, as he had also, very early in his reign, cut his annual salary by 20%, and he did so voluntarily. Now, guys, I know that sarcasm does not pay, at least definitely not for me. So let's stick to the facts. Regardless of the fact that the King of England and head of state of 14 other countries receive a significant income from two private estates, namely Balmoral and Sandringham, income which he is currently growing by leaps and bounds through various new endeavors and longer tourist seasons, he is also still receiving income to the value of approximately £26.37 million from the Duchy of Lancaster and approximately £82 million as sovereign grant. Now please note that the sovereign grant pays for the upkeep of properties managed by the royal household. And as far as I know, that totals Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. Anyway, it also pays for the utilities at those properties. But the sovereign grant does not cover costs of security and royal ceremonies. That money comes from a variety of state departments. We also know that Charles owns a property in Transylvania. Charles likes to visit once a year, but when he's not there, the property is rented out to tourists. Rates vary, but basic rates are about 180 to 195 euro per person per night. Lunch, excluding drinks, are about 20 euro. Dinner, excluding drinks, plus minus 30 euro. Transport and guides are about 90 euro per day. So yes, the place is definitely paying for itself and maybe paying the king a little as well. We also know that the king only pays tax on his private income and that he was exempt from inheritance tax when his mom passed away. Because the king's sovereign grant is linked to the profit of the crown estate, it is also estimated that the king will receive more than £100 million in sovereign grant by 2025. So I'm not going to comment any further except to say that according to the 2022 statistics on the government website, the wealthiest 10% of households, and I'm not even sure that includes royalty, in Britain holds 43% of the wealth in Britain, and the bottom 50% only 9%. And thus, there is a huge wealth inequality in Britain, and as much as anyone would like to dispute it, that inequality starts at the top, right there with the king. At the end of the day, all the wealth he owns comes from the people, whether it comes in the form of products purchased from his private estates, or whether it comes in the form of rentals paid to the duchy and the crown estate and £1 a year through your taxes. It does not matter. At this point, it is all going to the same person. Often, and in many countries, a president has to either halt his personal business endeavors for the period of his presidency, or would donate a portion, salary minus expenses, back to the state and or charities. Like I said to a friend recently, I do not have a dog in the fight, and I report it as I see it. But I'm glad that I actually went to the trouble to go read up on King Philippe, because that again gives me a more positive outlook on royalty and what can be done. Of course, King Philippe had difficulties, mostly issues he inherited from his father, but through strict discipline and increased transparency, he appears to have largely won back the respect and approval of his people. As a matter of fact, a recent newspaper poll had shown that his approval rating was up to 64%, an increase from 49% before the exile of his father Juan Carlos. In today's modern society, that is a major achievement. Okay guys, this is long enough details to make your head spin. So my next video will be less serious, and please look out for my shorts. Most of them are creative and fun or funny, and please go give me a thumbs up there as well. That is if you like it. Now I'm out of breath, so I'm going to shut up now. So please take care of yourselves until we meet again on the next one. Bye.